The 2016 annual report is out. For people who live in the United States, where we have your street address, if you have given an offering in the last 2 years and we know it, you got one of these in the mail. People who have made offerings in the last couple of years who live outside of the country got an email to link to a full copy out of Dropbox, and then it's now also on the website. So when Venerable Children asked me to make to do a Bodhisattva Breakfast Corner talk about the annual report, I thought, annual report. But you know, as I've thought about what to share about it, it's really quite exciting that we have the annual report every year, and this one, you know, this one is no different. I looked up online, what is an annual report's purpose? Well, I don't even want to say it. It's so corporate and, you know, I mean, it's important to communicate with people what your organization is doing. But from the Abbey's perspective, I think we have quite a different view of things. The theme for this year, maybe you can see, is widening the circle of Dharma. And that's exactly what we've been doing actually for 13 years. But then for me, and I think our point of view here is that for us, an annual report is like celebrating the merit of the activities of so many people. There are close to 800 names in this annual report alone. 800 names that we know of. And these are the people who have made offerings of any kind that, again, that we know of, that we've been able to list. But that doesn't include so many people. You know, there are people who just give a little red envelope to one of the monastics as they go by. There are people who just leave a few dollars in the box downstairs. We don't know where it comes from. Sometimes people come and visit and they bring a bag of oranges. We don't know who brought it. We don't have those names here. But the celebration is even bigger than, you know, unlike other annual reports where the donors are listed by category of the size of amount they gave, and you get a fancy name. You could be a Bodhisattva donor, you could be a whatever kind of donor, and that's a very standard practice. I'm not dissing that as a practice, but here we're everybody's name is equal. It doesn't matter if you give a several thousand or if you give several cents. If we know your name, it's going in the annual report. And that's what that widening the circle of the Dharma is about. So I wanted to read a little bit. It starts with a message from Venerable Children, as it does every year. This year, what she said, well, here's what she said. Recalling the 2016 conjures an array of images, some discordant and some beautiful. Pundits propose that 2016 was a year that changed the world. And yet, from a Buddhist perspective, everything changes moment by moment, arising and ceasing due to causes and conditions. We live in an interdependent world, and what we do matters. That's what the annual report celebrates. We live in an interdependent world, and what we do matters. So to take the time to recognize what we've done together and to rejoice in that together is important. It's a significant thing to do. We talk a lot about what we've done, how it affects the mission. This year we didn't actually have room to put the mission in the annual report. So I wanted to share it with people. Remind some people have probably never heard it. The mission of Sravasti Abbey is that it supports a flourishing monastic community, where learning and practicing Buddha's ancient teachings cultivate peace in the hearts of residents, visitors, and the world. We seek to preserve Buddha's teachings purely, to root them deeply in Western soil, to share them with others, to build an enduring Sangha, and to serve sentient beings for as long as space remains. That's the mission. That's what we're here to do. And so to celebrate that, there are a few things that I find a little bit astonishing. When we collect the statistics at the end of the year, the Abbey welcomed over 1,000 guests last year. Again, that's an approximate. I can count that many, but there are a lot of people that slip in for lunch that don't necessarily make it to the count. We, and I will say Venerable Damcho and her team, posted 492 video teachings to YouTube last year alone. 492 videos. Online Dharma videos drew 464,710 views in 1 year. That is not the accumulated total of all the years we've been on the web. This is 1 year, 464,710 views. 188 students completed the SAFE program, Sravasti Abbey Friends Education courses. 275 people from 14 countries did the annual retreat from afar last year, including 148 who are in U.S. prisons. And Venerable Children's guided meditations on Insight app. Did you even know that was happening? Venerable Children's guided meditations are on Insight app. 26,000 plays last year. And so it goes on to talk about the retreats and courses that were done, the ongoing monastic training, where Venerable taught, where other monastics taught. There's a quote here from the Longquan Monastery in Beijing, China, which I also want to share. You probably haven't seen. They wrote and said, your monastery, that's this little monastery, is establishing a Bhikshuni Sangha in America, engaging in the same noble enterprise as did the great monastics from India and the western regions who first came to China 2,000 years ago to establish a Bhikshuni Sangha. How can you say this is small? You may be small in number, but from small causes and conditions, this is already the beginning of the spreading of the Buddha Dharma in the Americas in the future. And that is our mission. So to have that kind of recognition from Beijing, that's pretty exciting. So there are highlights, there are many photographs. Tracy Thrasher did a beautiful job again designing this thing, this presentation, and transparency is of course a part of what we're about, and the financial information is here for all to see. So the celebration, I guess, is just this widening of circle of Dharma business. To see that it's not just this resident community at all, that there are hundreds of people involved in helping to create peace in a chaotic world. There are hundreds of people involved in, if we look at the views, maybe thousands and thousands of people involved in trying to find a way to cultivate the good qualities and overcome the negative ones. There's a team of volunteers that people also don't know about who practically have full-time jobs with us. There wasn't room again this year to name them, so I'm going to take it now. We have Susan and Leah who are running all of the financial stuff, like very professionally well run. Venerable Children's website is taken care of by Heather, Tracy, Kim, Tara, Jack, Jeremy, Peter, and Kyung, and now Stephen. The Sravasti Abbey website is handled almost exclusively by one volunteer alone who's been the webmaster all these years, Tanya. Our food offering people, Tracy Morgan has organized that for years, and Sherry and Cooney and Donna and Dana and Sarah and Jen and Tree, and all these people are involved with that. And then you take all the people who are doing transcription, all of the people who come up and work on the land. Every guest that comes also gets recruited to volunteer on the land. All the people in Spokane who are driving things around and running errands, or in Coeur d'Alene who are driving things around and running errands, all the people around the world who are picking up little jobs here and there. It's amazing, this network. It's huge. And so Venerable says at the end, as all of us, monastics and lay people alike, cultivate the compassion and wisdom necessary for our own awakening, may we continue to enhance our aspiration to awaken compassion in the heart of every single being and create peace in a chaotic world. In this chaotic world. That's what she said. So I encourage everyone to take a look at it thoroughly. If you didn't get one at home, please go online, and it's right now on the home page. You can click to the link there. And I thought to actually drive Venerable Dhamma crazy a little bit with the sound, but I thought that to dedicate the merit, we should actually do the Abbey dedication prayer together, which I also want to say, this was written by Serkong Rinpoche. I don't know if that's also well known. But one of Venerable Children's root teachers is the previous Serkong Rinpoche, and she has maintained a relationship with his reincarnation. And so Serkong Rinpoche is both the author of Venerable Children's Long Life Prayer, which we say daily, and the Sravasti Abbey dedication prayer. May the deeds of explaining and practicing the Dharma done by groups supporting the teachings and their upholders, who spread the view of dependent arising and non-violent actions in the 10 directions, and especially at Sravasti Abbey in the West Flourish. So we can rejoice together in the merit created by everyone involved in making the Dharma spread, the circle widen in 2016. And may we really hold in our hearts this aspiration to continue to work to create peace in our chaotic world.